I freaking had it with Christians, and that phrase is coming out of my mouth a lot more than I thought it ever would, given that I am a Christian. I was raised Christian, went to Christian school, been in church my entire life, and also I am a former extreme conservative. And yes, former MAGA. By the grace of God, that is not my story anymore, and I like to create the kind of content I wish I had seen sooner, because when I started getting to know the real Jesus, not the politically convenient mascot that the right has concocted in order to justify their bigotry, hatred, and just general awfulness, then I started to realize how deeply wrong my beliefs were. Now, you may or may not know, but our Muslim brothers and sisters and neighbors and friends just celebrated Eid. And you can probably guess the reaction from a lot of Christians, particularly on social media. So I saw several pictures and videos and things come through my feed of these beautiful families dressed up, celebrating the holiday, and the comments went about how you would expect. Two major B words was in the comments. Bacon and bombs were getting thrown around constantly. Like, these people who thought they were super clever, like, oh, I'm gonna go eat a pork sandwich. Okay, fantastic. And other comments were talking about, well, I'm not even gonna dignify it by representing it, but you can guess. There was a lot of just really hateful things, like a picture of a beautiful family, a mom and a dad and little children smiling, and the comments are just really terrible. And a lot of them were talking about Christianity and Jesus, meanwhile being really terrible. And besides the fact that being hateful like that is just not in Jesus' character at all and is not what he would want his followers doing, I want to talk about the deep, just complete and utter lack of logic that is happening with a lot of Christians. So right now we're getting a lot of talk about the apocalypse and end times because somehow people are convinced that if we bomb Iran enough, then Jesus will come back, which is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Take it down a notch, Rach. But one particular comment was made in response to a comment I made on one of these pictures of this like really cute young family. I had commented something along the lines of, because I like to, when I have the opportunity to plug some positivity out into the world, I like to do so. So if I see a girl looking real cute in a video, I'll be like, you look amazing. That dress is fantastic on you. I love your smile. I saw this picture of this family and I just felt like I wanted to add some positivity, especially with the sea of negative comments, and especially the negative comments centering Jesus for some reason. So I said something along the lines of, you know, as a Christian, I love seeing things like this. What a beautiful family. I love that my kids are going to get to grow up in a world and in a situation where they don't have to be afraid of other people just existing differently from them. Happy Eid, friends, carry on. And this lady, who probably thought she was gonna spiritually mentor me, responded to my comment. We're gonna call her Deb. And so Deb says something along the lines of, haven't you heard about the end times prophecies? One world religion is coming. They are infiltrating and they are not assimilating. That's the definition of an invasion. Buckle up, buttercup. And so I responded something along the lines of, oh honey, like, I grew up during the height of the Left Behind craze. Revelation has been my favorite book since I learned how to read. Don't ask me why. I am very, very familiar with end times prophecy. What does that have to do with just randomly being hateful to people? And as you can probably guess, she did not have an answer, because there is no answer, because it's a stupid line of thought. So let's pull that thread and kind of go down that rabbit hole a little bit. Let's say that there is this one world religion that's coming, and that religion is Islam. Substitute it with anything. The kind of line of thinking I'm going down here is like, why Christians have chosen, we must be mean to people who don't practice our religion because that's going to prevent the apocalypse. That's kind of the thread that we're pulling on. Okay, so number one, let's assume that you are able to stop the end times. Things will just continue on as they are. Jesus will not come back. Let's just assume that that is something that's within our control. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to stop the end times and therefore stop Jesus from coming back? Riddle me that, Batman. Okay, so now we've officially decided that that's just a stupid line of thinking. So now, moving on from, if we can, it's stupid. Do you really think that if something is in God's plan, if God has said, hey, this is going to happen, that you, Deborah, that you can stop it? this little story, little known, you might not have heard of it, called the Tower of Babel comes to mind. Humans time and time again think that they know better than God. Humans time and time again are like, I'm going to do this in my own strength. God, I got this. Just you sit back. I got this. And God every single time is like, it's not going to work. And then it doesn't. And then we're shocked Pikachu about it. Okay, so we have now decided that it's stupid to want to stop the end times from happening. You couldn't if you tried, because God is more powerful than you are. Now let's talk about the third. I understand it's cathartic to exercise the hate that you have for people. What makes you think it's an effective strategy for stopping something like the institution of one world religion? These are the same people who were deeply moved by the Cassie Bernall story, who, if you're not familiar, is a potentially fictionalized story of one of the victims of the Columbine school shooting, where the story goes that they put a pew-pew to her head, said, "Do you believe in God?" And when she said yes, ended her life. It has come out that that is most likely not what actually happened, but the fervor that started in so many evangelical Christians' hearts, especially in the youth group community. I've seen many people talk about, I used to wish that would happen to me so I could have a chance to prove my devotion to God. It's something that deeply messed with a lot of us, especially those who grew up in the church and saw this paragon, this martyr, and were weirdly jealous. All that to say, we know that you can't kill an ideology. It's just not feasible. It's not possible to put down a movement by ending the lives of those involved. So if ending the lives of those involved only serves to further the movement and intensify it, hey Deborah, what makes you think that your snarky Facebook comments are gonna be effective at all? At the end of the day, everyone can see through Christians who operate like this. They are bullies who are upset with their own lives, who are basing their entire identity off the hollow idol of a religion that does not actually exist in their mind or heart. They hold their beliefs because their beliefs allow them to feel hatred and anger, mistreat and mistrust other people, and feel justified doing so. This is one of the reasons that Christian nationalism cannot coexist with the real Jesus. They are in complete opposition. Jesus, the real Jesus, red letter Jesus, is not at the heart of the Christian nationalism movement. He is not MAGA. And he does not condone your little hatreds that you like to exercise on the internet. So, hey Christians, if you could stop, that would be great. You're fooling nobody except yourselves. And hey, I would highly recommend checking out the ending of Matthew 25. Okay, I hope you get it together. Love you, bye!